right, guys, here we go again with another of our Evolution Consulting market update videos. This one being recorded on the 25th of January 2017. It's about 1:30. It's during trading hours, and holy fucking cat turds! It's down 20,000, everybody. Holy shit! What's really all that different? You know, I mean, the temptation to make the smug face on this one is there, but we're not even going to bother. Okay, there's plenty of other stuff that we can certainly make the smug face on as far as forecasting accuracy and really election 2016 into the Trump inauguration into the very beginnings now of the first 100 days in office for Trump. Okay, there's plenty of opportunity for us to make the smug face there, so we're just going to forego the smug face for Dow 20,000, guys, because you didn't need Evolution, Ultra Evolution 4.0 to really, kind of figure out that was going to happen. Okay, so in the interest of brevity, again, we forego the smug face and we move right into something that matters, guys. Like, well, what does Dow 20,000 really mean? Okay, and that is, I made reference to something on Dr. Janda's show, Operation Freedom. Again, the interview is up there. It's on our YouTube channel. It's the most recent one. There's 3 up there. We've been on the show 3 times. It'll be a 4th in February. Okay, but from purely, guys, from a trading perspective, we kind of make fun of it. We go, well, what the hell's the difference between Dow 19,999.99 and Dow 20,000, guys? It's purely psychological. That's all it is. It's the irrational human component, and it's round numbers. It's a milestone for what it's worth, guys. It is a historic milestone. So. Not to take away from that, but really at the end of the day, guys, I made reference to something on Dr. Janda's show, and that is to say that, guys, this market rally that's going on now, you really can't point to any single metric and go, oh, that's why, because there isn't any. Okay, trust us. We've been, actually, don't trust us. That's irrational. But we did the research, okay, from a purely arbitrary and analytic perspective. We did the research, and there isn't a single metric, and I think anybody with a fundamental understanding of economics at this point knows that, okay, there isn't a single metric you can point to, guys. Housing starts, non-farms, whatever the case may be, whatever made-up number really at this point, you want to go with. There's not a single metric that's there that would indicate, oh, that's why. So that, we dug a little bit deeper, as we so often do. And what we came up with, guys, and we mentioned this again on Dr. Janda's show, all this market rally is, guys, is the investment class in this country extending confidence and a thumbs up and a vote of confidence to now President Trump, okay? That's it. This is an optimism rally. It's a euphoria rally. It's him building a reputation on what he's about to do. That's all it is, okay? So, once again, I mean, something we can make the smug face on is there's plenty of folks that were out there that were saying, oh, Trump's going to win, it's going to be the worst thing that's ever going to happen to capital markets, all hell is going to break loose, et cetera, et cetera. And we said quite the opposite. And so, to that extent, I'll give it half a smug face. We knew he was going to be great for capital markets. He's what everybody in the investment class in this country has been waiting for. Okay, and we've referenced Bonfire of the Vanities a couple of times, and we've referenced 1980s version 2.0, prosperity, materialism, success, and, competitiveness is back in fashion. That's all well and good, but that's all this rally is, guys. So that's what Dow 20,000 is all about. Does it keep going? Probably. Honestly, it probably does, because, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, he is a master. He is a master of selling the illusion of what he's doing, okay? And, I kind of have to laugh, and I go, man, for somebody to play the conservative, okay, read, the religious right amongst others, okay, he played him like a fiddle, okay, and you're watching a master at work there, what he did. He's got his own agenda, okay, and, I was kind of, you kind of have to laugh. I mean, for how many years that I did the so-called alt-right news type stuff, guys, and everybody you spoke to was, Obama's going to screw the elections up. It's going to be martial law. Obama has a plan, and then there's going to be no votes, and the election's not going to go off without it. It's going to be this whole big thing. And they were talking about, depending upon who you listen to, it was the apocalypse, it was Armageddon, it was FEMA coffins, and blah, 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 right? So we got the right wing in this country just voted in a guy in his first 48 hours in office, basically gave an ultimatum to the entire city of Chicago. It stopped the carnage or we're sending in the feds. And it's like, you were worried about Obama and martial law, were you now? So really, like I said, he's got his own agenda, and I'm not going to get into it here because I do have a request as far as the subject of this particular market update video, guys. But just to clarify here, all right, really what we're seeing now, like I said, it's just the investment class approving Trump as a president. They're approving his overall political economic stance. I mean, the fun really hasn't even started yet, okay? And I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. Congratulations, everybody. You just put the most volatile guy you can conceivably imagine in office, all right? So, again, for those of you that like a volatile market and you like to trade and you like the wild days, hey, happy times are here again. I don't know what else to tell you. But if you're looking for a ho-hum market, look elsewhere, all right? At least for certainly the next 4 years, which brings up another point. I want to get to that real quick. This is going to be kind of a long market update video because we only do these now once or twice a month, so we have a ton of stuff we want to jam in here. But something else we'd like to bring up, guys, is, all right, so far, he's been operating on, I mean, realistically speaking, what he's about to do, building a reputation on what he's about to do, okay? And what we've come to the conclusion is there's only one more thing that we can think of that's more dangerous than Trump with his nationalist rhetoric, okay? And we're not anti-Trump by any capacity here, but we are arbitrary. There's only one thing more dangerous than him, the way he's been, which is we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, that, and the other thing, okay? And that's Trump with results, okay? You take somebody like him, and all of a sudden, he starts to produce visible results. And today, by the way, we told you he was going to build the border wall. He's already starting in with the legislation to build the border wall. And for those of you that have been reading Wirehouse, or you've purchased our Grant Street Notes Petroleum Guide or Macroeconomics Guide, you're going to know exactly why he's building it. And it's got very little to do with immigration, okay? So right off the bat, he's starting. Okay. That wall starts getting built, okay? And all of a sudden, there's all these tangible results, and it's in his best interest to do it as such. You got to remember, he comes from the business world. He's Mr. 1,000 miles an hour, get it done yesterday kind of thing. He starts to produce those kind of results, and he is. All right, now he's 10 times more dangerous than he was because now he's got the results to show for the rhetoric. That's sealing the deal, as we like to call it. I mean, that's really how you get a tyrant to rise to power. Is you need a certain set of ingredients. Okay. And when you take somebody like him, all right, especially after an administration like Obama, okay, you put him in office and all of a sudden it's just magically shit just starts getting done. And we don't know how to put that any other way. All right? He becomes 10 times more dangerous because it's validation that his way works. All right? And all of a sudden the latitude and the leeway and the propensity to give him funding and really turn him loose, it goes, like this. All right? He gets a way bigger latitude to operate in. So, we just thought we'd throw that out there. But yeah, I mean, he's already starting. So guys, by the way, for those of you that are long all the chaos plays, it's been a little bit rough on those. For those of you that read Switch and Signal, you know why. All right, not to say that they've been terrible, but just wait, guys. It's starting now. The border wall, and now all of a sudden all the counter protests, like we forecasted. Just you got to give those a little bit of time, and those will materialize. Okay. And now on to earlier this week or over the weekend, I put out a tweet and I said, you guys pick what we do a market update video about. So you guys all kind of unanimously picked the same thing. I think, speaking of Dr. Jan, I think he chimed in on that. And some of our other, our regulars, as we like to call them, they all kind of agreed that gold, silver, and dollar and ratios would be the subject of this market update video. So we did, as we so often do, guys, a little bit of research for you. And here's what we got. Okay. And regarding the ratio between gold and silver, okay, we haven't talked about that in a while, but regarding the ratio between gold and silver, near term, really don't see much that's going to change it dramatically. All right, and what we figured out, and I'm sure what other people have figured out, guys, is the only thing that's really going to change the ratio, where you have one going dramatically higher and faster than the other, okay, either way, okay, specifically on the silver side, okay, is going to be retail demand. That's it, okay? And for the foreseeable future, unless Trump starts in right away, and by the way, Yeah, I don't know how to put this any other way, but I think people are finding out now. Like again, it's like another layer of reality is setting that he's not kidding. Okay, he was 100% serious about all his rhetoric. I mean, it's almost hilarious to see somebody like him take office because he was honest. He was 100% honest. Hey, this is what we're going to do, and as soon as I get in office, this is what's going to happen. And now it's like, holy shit. He's serious. It's like, yeah, he's serious. It's almost like people want him to be kidding, and it's like, no, he was being 100% honest. But in terms of, like auditing the Fed, that kind of stuff, don't put that too far outside the realm of possibility because that's very real. All right, that guy's not playing by the same set of rules that anybody else that's come before him has, and that's fine. But in terms of gold and silver, guys, the ratio, the price thereof, and the movements thereof, guys, there's really not too much that we can foresee, or that ultra. And we did the scan with ultra, by the way. Yikes. There's really not too much that we can foresee that's going to offset that gold and silver ratio. Okay, it's not. The only thing that can really start driving silver higher at a much, 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 much faster rate than gold, all right, is going to be the retail demand, and you're going to need some catalyst for that. Okay, one thing we will say, and we did mention this in Switch and Signal also, okay, is once that does start in the United States, and that can be from, and I keep bringing up Trump, but he is right now the #1 economic catalyst on the planet. All right, the guy, like I said, the guy's fucking Twitter account is more dangerous than the Fed. Okay, in terms of the results or the immediate results that it can produce, and I don't say dangerous in a bad way, but one of the things that we research, guys, is if the United States starts in with major retail demand, okay, and I know there's a statistic floating around out there that says, first day sales of silver double eagles were up X amount of percent. It was like some ridiculous number, and I just don't know it off the top of my head, so I'm not going to say it. I will include it in the edit, though. But what we're trying to figure out now is, so the rest of the world's watching the United States now. They're going, oh my God, we can't believe we elected Trump, and now what's he really going to do? All right. So in terms of the United States starts really loading the boat, and I'm saying the United States populace starts really loading the boat on gold, on silver, on a retail because of price point, obviously. All right. Is that going to start in a global trend? Because now that's something that could offset that gold and silver, that silver pricing to gold pricing ratio. Okay. You start getting global demand going. And I'm not saying it's not there now, but I'm talking about making it a mainstream kind of, this is the way it's going to go. The whole world figures out something that we figured out years ago, which is the new system is going to be gold and silver based, and that's it, and just freaking deal with it. All right? Because we're seeing leaders like Trump starting to rise to power. Le Pen, all right? She was at the Trump Towers, and all of a sudden now she's leading in the polls in France, and they're presidential in some of the polls. And I don't really give that much credit to polls, as you can tell. I mean, look what happened in the United States, but. In terms of more and more Trump-like leaders rising to power, does that become a component of their leadership? The popularity of metals investing, the popularity of metals trading, where they all start to kind of walk in lockstep with each other, where it's like gold and silver is money, in the words of J.P. Morgan, and everything else is credit. If so, the first metal that's going to get the reaction, guys, is going to be silver. That will throw off that ratio. You will see a drastic percentage difference in terms of gains, or you'll start to see the current ratio offset a little bit. All right. Apart from that, there's really not much happening. I mean, in terms of metals overall, we've said it before, we'll say it again, Trump's the best thing that could ever happen to metals. All right. For two reasons. Number one, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that he's a proponent of it. Number two, you got to keep in mind who put him in office. As I've often said, he is the United States wing of the new management team, if you will, okay? And you got to look at who he surrounded himself with, all right? You got, like I said, you got Larry Kudlow that's floating around there. You got Judy Shelton, all right? You got Carl Icahn. And these are all people that are proponents of, at one point in time or other, may have made reference or have openly been in favor of a metals-backed currency, okay? So the Trump presidency, all right, it's going to be good for metals. And again, we don't encourage, even the ETFs that we trade, guys, we don't encourage them as day trades, okay? We don't have the gonads to come on here and say, on such and such a date, this is going to happen, and that's going to be the day, blah, 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 happens, or some catalyst. We can get you in the right range, all right? And I don't pretend for a second to say on such and such a date. Even the Ultra system does not have the accuracy, okay, to say on this date, at that time, this is going to happen, okay? but we can give you an overall synopsis, 30,000-foot view of the battlefield, and that's what we've been delivering. That's why we've been so accurate. All right, they're not day trades. All right, and I know we have customers that are in some of these metals trades, and a lot of them did the right thing, guys. You average down, and you got to be feeling pretty damn smart at this point. Okay, but for those of you that are in at higher levels, it's not an if, guys. It is a when. Okay, and it's not sensationalist. It's not fear mongering, and we don't pretend for any schmeetas, schmootas, the shimita, mita is going to happen, and then unicorn farts and pixie dust, and then on such and so that's not realistic. All right, but what we can say is that as we see the planet start to move towards a global unified currency, guys, it's those ETFs, triple leverage, JNUG, NUGT, USLV, SLVP, GDX, GDXJ, all our perennial favorites as we call them. Okay, that's where you want to be. You want to catch that trend because they're going to catch the leverage that are on those. You're going to catch a nice updraft, and the idea is to be able to ride that higher and then be able to purchase more physical supply. Okay, so at no point in time, and certainly not now, are we suggesting in any way, shape, or form that those are day trade. Can you intraday, intra-week, intra-month trade them? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to trade them a couple of months at a time, a couple of weeks at a time, that's fine. All right, but don't expect a day trade out of it. The way we trade is based upon social engineering and social architecture and a trend that's happening. And we often, and I mentioned this on Dr. Janda's show as well, guys, which is, like I said, guys like Carl Icahn and Warren Buffett, okay, they give a rat's ass about Japanese candlesticking, Bollinger's 50, Elliott Wave, Fibonacci, so on and so forth. They're trading catalysts. They're trading cause-effect catalysts. It's that simple, and that's why guys like that, it seems like they just win all the time. Okay, it always seems like, how the hell did they know? How did they ahead of the curve? Whatever. They keep their investment, their trading strategy simple. Okay, and that's kind of the approach that we use. We take the information from the Ultra system, we take the information from 4.0, and we try to build a social engineering, social forecast, collective intent forecast picture out of it. Okay, and that's where we come up with this. So, guys, those ETFs, I mean, those are not day trades, and there are people out there that will day trade them if you want. That's fine. Okay. Again, I mean, you get a huge gain on them. You want to take some off the table, go right ahead. All right, but again, we forecast Trump to be probably one of the best thing that's ever going to happen to the metals market over the next 4 years. And like I said, we're not going to say on such and such a date that ABC is going to happen, okay? Because that's not realistic. All right, and that's even with the Ultra system, it's just that's if you got a system, you can say on such and such a date that's going to happen. And we've done it before. We've called equity moves, and there are folks that'll verify. We've called equity moves to the dollar to the day, but can we do that consistently? I won't pretend for a second that we can. Be arrogant to say so. It'd be unrealistic, and I'd be lying to you. And I try not to do that. Haven't done it yet, and don't plan on starting now. All right, but in terms of the ratio, guys, and to bring the U.S. dollar into it for a little bit, when you got his administration, okay, saying the dollar is ridiculously strong, it's unrealistically strong, like that kind of stuff, all right, take a hint. All right, for all the, we're renegotiating, we're pulling out a TPP, this, that, and the other thing that's going on, guys. At the end of the day, the global environment is as such. You can run your mouth about isolationism and nationalism and protectionism all you want. But at the end of the day, guys, the United States is part of a global economy. And the global trend is devalue or die. Okay, so option one is don't devalue your currency, which the United States is ultimately going to have to do. Okay. I just think it's hilarious, by the way. They're going to dictate, trade policy to a nation you owe 20 trillion some odd dollars to, or a portion of that. Okay, let me know how that works out for you. But the reality is, guys, that U.S. dollar ain't going to stay where it is for very long. It's going to come right back down the other side. It has to. All right, because even he knows, being in business, at the end of the day, the United States is part of a global economy. If you're going to remain competitive in that, then something's going to have to be done. That's one of the major catalysts for metals to start moving higher, along with, all right, a Le Pen win that's going to, effectively signal the end of the EU. So all those catalysts, guys, that we've been talking about, we've been waiting for, we're starting to see them develop. Okay, and I know it takes a little bit. It can be frustrating sometimes, but, thus far, all the mile markers, okay, leading up to the catalyst and that we've talked about as being moving metals far, far higher, guys. They've all been happening. It's been proven. All right, so that's our 2 cents there on the gold and silver ratio, guys. Just we're really short of a major, sudden global mainstream shift towards The whole world waking up simultaneously and going, holy shit, metals are the new, that's going to be what the new system is based on. You got to realize we talk about that like it's common knowledge, and the reality is, guys, that it is not. Okay, so it's going to take some time for that retail side to wake up and go, oh, that's what's really going on. Okay, and that's the only thing that really we can foresee in the near term. And we say near term, I mean a year or two. That can throw that ratio off. Okay, in terms of the U.S. dollar to metals, the dollar is going to have to weaken at some point. When that is, again, near term within this year, absolutely. When this year, couldn't tell you. But again, I mean, you have to realize now that the movements with him in office, I mean, they could be within a day or two. Okay, so Mr. Trump now, or President Trump, Mr. President as we'll call him, all right, represents a fast forward button on volatility. All right, it takes one policy shift, and we've already seen it now with the wall and the TPP. I mean, the guy's getting stuff done, so credit to him. You know, that'll have an effect on the U.S. dollar. But apart from that, guys, Dow 20,000, man, Yahoo, cool, ain't it? All right, so let's see what if he can keep the rally going. I mean, if he starts producing tangible results, which he hasn't been in office that long, and he already is. All right, that's going to keep going, and all that's going to be representative of, guys, is just that divide in society. What we say, the ones that are going to adapt to the new system, and the ones that are not. So, the haves and the have-nots. It's a surprise. Here we go again. So with that in mind, guys, as always, thanks for watching. If you would like to contact us, usually it's not there. Seriously? Ah, there it is. Info at evolutionconsulting.world. Info at evolutionconsulting.world. If you would like to email us, if you'd like to follow us on Twitter, as you might imagine, we've been in a mood on there. At that thing, at Evo_consultants, at Evo_consultants. Real quick, guys, thank you for the kind words on both the Grant Street Notes guides and Wirehouse, guys. We've been getting some great feedback. We already did the first edition of the new format of Wirehouse, guys. The feedback has been absolutely awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do put a hell of a lot of effort into those. Also, thank you to the dev team. I mean, we did a hell of a lot of research for the first edition of Wirehouse. Grant Street Notes guides, sometime this week. Chaos Guide is going up. That'll be number 4. Okay, then we just have the Alternative Investment Guide that we have to edit and put up. So there's that, and then we got the video podcast coming. That's the last thing that we're going to add. All right, so again, thank you. Kudos to everybody that sent email feedback and Twitter feedback. So we're proud of that, guys. We're happy to be delivering a product that is completely overkill and with research that is certainly unmatched. At this point, that should be fairly friggin' obvious, and that's not arrogance. That's proven fact. Okay, so. With that being said, guys, again, thank you very much. If you like what you see, do hit the like and subscribe button somewhere down there. Somewhere. Do that. All right, guys. And also, do remember that everything really is a transaction.